should be,
Should be no.
yep, it shows that it's going.
Okay. But then now there's no picture.
No?
No, it's black now.
One of them.
Okay, now it's good. Okay.
You ready to go?
Yes, thank
Okay.
you.
Yeah.
Gallery, sorry, we got to drive through. To refrain from discussions, please, and we'll try to keep it as quiet here as we can. Sound fair? Shut off your cell phones if you have to. Approval of agenda. Item 4, be it resolved that the agenda for the May 14th, 2025 regular meeting of council be approved as presented. Yours good? Oh, sorry, mover, we all went for that.
With the following addition.
Yeah. So Larry was the first one. Seconder? Barry? All in favor? Carried. Recess regular meeting of council to hold a public hearing. Be it resolved that the regular meeting of council, May 14th, 2025, be recessed at 6:20 for the purpose of holding a public hearing as required on the following matters. Zoning amendment bylaw 01-2025. Mover? Jim? Seconder? All right, Barry? All in favor? Carried. Agenda item 5.11, open public hearing for zoning amendment bylaw. Be it resolved that the Council of Winnipeg Beach open a public hearing at 6:22 as required on the following matters. Zoning amendment bylaw 01-2025. Mover? Seconder? All in favor? Carried. Oh,
Okay, no, we're
that's to
good.
close it.
Yep. Okay, so I just need to get some clarification from a few members who are wanting to speak on this matter. We do need to know if you oppose it or if you're for it. So just gonna go through this listing here. Sig,
Oppose.
oppose, thank you. Maria Lorenik, are you wishing to speak on this matter?
No.
Okay, thank you. Larry Spekaluk, are you wishing to speak for or against?
Against.
Thank you. Barry Lillis?
Against.
Okay, are you wishing to speak?
Pardon?
Are you wishing to speak on the matter?
I put down maybe. It all depends what goes on beforehand.
You have to
Okay, yes.
advise
Yes.
beforehand. And that was against? Guy Mercier?
Yes, against.
Thank you. Keenan Johnston? For or against?
Here to answer questions.
Oh, are you the applicant? Okay, thank you. Okay. Thank you all, sorry.
I said I would speak.
No, it's just there's.
Yeah, it was only if you didn't.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. Yeah, perfect.
Okay. So I'll do the chairperson introduction on behalf of Mayor Plotton. The purpose of this public hearing is to receive representations from the applicant and from any persons who wish to make them concerning zoning amendment bylaw 01-2025. We will hear first from the applicant, then from those who wish to make representation, starting with anyone who wants to speak in favor of the proposal. At the end of the other presentations, the applicant will have the opportunity to respond. If, in the response, the applicant supplies new information or raises new issues, then the others will be given an opportunity to speak again. At the end of each presentation, the members of council may ask for clarification from the speaker on any fact or issue, but will not enter into a debate. Persons speaking must address the chair. If they have questions that they think the applicant should answer, they should raise them in their presentation to the chair. The applicant will have an opportunity to respond to questions when the other presentations are finished. This is also not the time to question the members of council. Under the Planning Act, the purpose of the public hearing is for council to receive representation, and a discussion or argument involving members of council is inappropriate. There should be no interruptions while a person is making a presentation. Order must be maintained. Minutes will be kept and the proceedings will be recorded. Written submissions and reports may be presented, but copies must be made available to all those present who want them. When all presentations have been completed, the public hearing will close. If the hearing is not completed today, either because we run out of time or further information is to be provided, we will adjourn the hearing. If we adjourn, we will tell you at this hearing the date for the continued public hearing. There will be no other notice given of the date. Even if all the representations are completed today, we do not expect to be making our decision today. Until our decision is made, there can be no further communication of any kind with council or the members about the proposal. When council makes its decision, all persons who made a representation at the hearing will be notified. If council decides to give second reading to the bylaw, those who made objections at this public hearing will have an opportunity to file a second objection with the municipal board. If you want to have this opportunity, please make sure you identify yourself as an objector. If anyone has a preliminary point or procedural objection to raise, please may we hear from you now. If not, we'll begin. Okay, thank you.
Thanks for reading.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, so first we will let the applicant speak.
Our intentions at the moment with development of the property and regards to size is to help increase the amount of year-time residents available to the community of Northern Beach. Firsthand, I've been part of the surrounding community for over 42 years. I can attest 100% to the lack of year-round residents in the surrounding communities and the town of Northern Beach. And granted, with the new rental markets, short-term rentals, it has seriously impacted the ability for long-term rentals in the communities. Our intents with it, we don't have any budgetary plans as of yet in regards to what the rent structure would be, and all I can say is currently it would be within reason of what other surrounding communities are, within say half an hour, 45 minutes of the city. I try to be comparable in that. So use examples we have like Oak Bank, Oak Bluff, Stony Mountain, where rents are a little bit more reasonable to the working class. They are intended to be upwards of 3-bedroom units, so you can have four-member families or larger. They'd have main level access as well as upstairs access. The exact size of the building will vary dependent on the zoning, because once rezoning could occur, there would be a land development survey that would have to take place that would determine what the actual height of the building could be. With this land development permit, would also determine how many units could essentially be built in the initial process. That's why I was slightly vague on the whether it could be 8 units or potentially more. It could potentially only be 6. Again, it varies on what the land use permit would allow. And then as for exact placement of the property, as an example, we use the front portion of the property, essentially would be where it would start. There's no exact set point that it wouldn't be further back on the property, or that the building may rotate in placement on the property.
Can I interrupt you for 1 second? Can we turn the air conditioning fan off? It's hard to hear.
I was gonna say, speak up a bit, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
And I'm sorry about that. There we go.
So the rough outline that was provided as of now is for reference for the zoning. Once, if zoning is approved and it doesn't move forward, at that point, we would involve an architect and we would have a more foundation plan of exactly where placement would be, what building structure may look like. We've provided a few examples that we feel are not, I'm trying to think of their term, I apologize. We provided a few examples that are architecturally and visual references. They don't really stand out, they're kind of more fitting for a rural community. Definitely the last thing we want to do is go straight up in the air with a flat wall. Aesthetically, it wouldn't be visually pleasing to the community. And I guess with that, there isn't a whole lot to say really until we move forward. And then from there, we could have a more concrete plan of what the building may look like once we had all the development and zoning permits applied for, and we had a layout. Because I know the town of Winnipeg Beach, you guys will tell us what the elevation can be for the roof line, which will eventually determine if it's a 2-story or a 1-story. And then, yeah, they all have external access. Upper units will have balconies. Main level would be the intent to have handy accessible units all across the main level. That way, if you get older retired individuals or families that have handy accessibility needs, again, it would increase that availability to the community and potentially draw more people to want to move out to the community, increasing the employee base for local businesses, year-round growth for local businesses by having a higher population in the area. So we do believe it would be beneficial to the community. And then I guess if you guys have any questions or can move forward to the public.
Anybody got any questions?
So you don't know how many units per building?
Right now, the plan would be, the initial plan is for 6 to 12 units per building, but it depends on what the elevation permits would allow.
I'm
And
sorry, we can't hear you.
It would depend on the elevation permits. The
Okay.
intent would be 6 to 8 units. The ideal size of the units would be 1,000 square feet. So it is a livable space for a family. But again, the exact amount of units per building will also be determined by the infrastructure study that has to take place. And that's where I say it could potentially be as low as 6 units in a building based on what will come back from the infrastructure studies.
and the number of buildings, would the number per building correlate to the number of buildings? So example, if you want 40 units in there, does it, 5 per unit, you're building 8 buildings, you know what I mean? Or 8 per unit, 5 buildings?
It would all-
I've got some sort of a concept on what sort of maximum number of units per school.
If you went with the zoning laws in regards to building regulations, the maximum allowable we could have on that property would be 84 units in any formation. And that's for parking regulations as well as land access regulations and just what the general Interlake Zoning Authority has set in place for what you can do for a size of property. The development, that's not to say that tomorrow we break ground and there's 84 units. This is a 15-year, 20-year project plan. This isn't a short-term, try to get in and out of it tomorrow. We understand even this process of it takes upwards of a year. And then there would be potentially another 6 to 12 months of initial work that has to take place before development ever begins. And then from there, it would be the addition of a unit potentially every 3 to 5 years, depending on what the market would allow and what the infrastructure would allow. So eventually, the property could have upwards of 80 units, each housing 4 individuals or more. So with that, you'd have an additional 320 residents in the community.
So, and you don't have a, I'll call it a prototype, of some sort of a builder's concept of
Those were the
green
ones that we,
space, parking lots, traffic flow.
those were the ones that we provided in the documentation with it, that have examples of what the building may look like, as well as placement on the
But
property.
again, that's all hinging on zoning and elevation.
Yes, zoning and elevation will give the final design. However, we can't get an elevation permit without a rezoning. So I can't tell you definitively what the building will be in regards to height, because the permit that tells us what we can do with the building can't be granted until the zoning is granted.
That sounds right. Long process.
There's hundreds of hours went into this.
Oh, sorry, Jean.
No, that's quite all right. So you say 6 to 12, and that will be determined when the elevation permit is done. What if the elevation permit allows you more?
We
Will you be
have
going bigger?
zero intention of going bigger per unit. We want the buildings to be self-sustaining. And dealing with it and size of buildings, my wife comes from a property management background. When I say property management, I'm talking 600 plus unit buildings. I am well versed on the trials and tribulations that come with large buildings. And we ourselves do not believe it would be the right building format to have a building that's 4 stories or 5 or 8 stories tall. It wouldn't be right. Nor is it feasible to do it in the community, and at the same time with infrastructure and so on and so forth. Why make one massive building in the middle of the field?
So when you're saying 84,
It would be
maximum,
potential.
potentially 84 units, you're taking into account the 1.5 parking spaces per
Yeah.
unit, and that's why you're limiting to 84?
That's
Because
why we did
our bylaw, actually, based on the square footage, would allow, not taking parking into consideration, would allow up to 160 units. So
Yeah.
you're using the 84, you're taking into account the parking that's required for you to
that.
provide.
1.5 stalls per unit.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Go ahead.
Have you got any sort of a, we'll call it a cost factor involved? And I say this because, you know, getting halfway through a building, because I would be concerned about, when I say financing, secondary or multi-level financing, some of them, these are costly. So, and there are situations where buildings are sometimes left incomplete.
Yeah.
Because we run out of funding.
Right now, our budgetary, on a preliminary, based on a 10-unit building, we'll use as an example. Right now, our budgetary ranges between about 1.8 million and 2.5 million, depending on the amenities you want to put into the building and the finishings. So if you wanted to have higher end finishings, the price would go up slightly higher.
Obviously, but I'm just saying, yeah, like, a cost to build per, say, square foot. Concept.
Cost per build per square foot, the basic breakdown right now is, will range between about $165 to $190 a square foot. And that's based on, again, finishings. There are costs that are extrapolated throughout. For instance, you can't really accommodate or take into factor the construction of the road into the cost per square foot of the building.
No, but I'm also concerned about things like subtrades and building materials and,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, this is a costly endeavor.
Yeah, it's not of a concern for us.
Right, and subtrades don't concern you at all either?
No, like for sub-trades, we've consulted with local sub-trades for the mechanical, the electricians, stuff like that. Because it is a local development, a local company, we'd use 100% all of the sub-trades on it.
Well, I'm just making sure you have enough electricians, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
You have enough plumbers.
Yeah, that's not a concern for us at all. We have consulted with the local trades to make sure they'd be able to take on an endeavor in this type of construction.
Only council can raise
Yeah.
points of question.
Close, very good.
Yeah, there's also, would there be consideration with what our fire department can handle for the height of the building, et cetera?
I believe that part would be covered in the permitting. That all has to be taken into consideration with the elevation permits and everything.
Okay.
That's all covered off in our bylaws
Yeah.
and in
Yeah.
these planning plans, so
Yeah.
that's all covered off.
You good?
Okay, no further questions from council?
I'm good.
Okay. All right,
Thank you.
thank you. So we have no peoples wishing to speak for the proposal. We'll get into those wishing to speak against. Before we do that, I just want to acknowledge that we have received 7 written objections prior to the public hearing commencing. At the beginning of the meeting, I have received thank you, 27 objections received. All of these documents will be verified following the meeting. So we'll start with those wishing to speak against. If you are seated, please stand so we can identify who is speaking. Michelle Russo. Thank you.
Hi. Do you want me to speak?
Yes, you can speak. Please address the chair.
Do I speak from here?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay. Good evening, Honorable Mayor, esteemed council, respected townspeople, and interested parties.
Could you speak up, please?
Sorry. Good evening, Honorable Mayor, esteemed council members, respected townspeople, and interested parties. I am here as a taxpayer of multiple properties and a generational owner in Winnipeg Beach. I am here this evening to strongly oppose the proposed rezoning of Section 8 at 640 Temple Avenue. I've read the bylaws and strongly feel that there are many set out with the goal to maintain the integrity and safety of the lake-like community we all enjoy at Winnipeg Beach. I'd like to highlight our concerns through points as stated in our bylaws. First, the compatibility with surrounding development of generational single-family unit owners that take pride, care, and effort in their land and has set a precedence for decades in the area. There are many reasons that this area was deemed single-family units in an attempt to preserve the quiet attraction of the proud owners of our community. Additionally, traffic, construction, and vehicular issues are of paramount safety concerns as work would be done in the warmer months when individuals are taking care of their properties, receiving visitors, caring for families at an increased risk of traffic construction phases and continuous noise control and pollution. Subsequently, there would be a risk of increased crime in vehicles and properties by individuals who are not property owners, therefore affecting safety and stability in our area. Our resources cannot extend any further to combat an increase in crime. Another concerning point would be the allotment of the 1.2 units of parking per habitable unit and the overflow of RVs, campers, vans, vehicles parked on the overflow of the street. Who would control the extra traffic and the length of time of the particular convoy? The overfull parking would most definitely impact residential safety, space, lifestyle, views, as well as congestion, noise, and possible accidents. Again, our resources are already stretched thin. Also, something to consider is the massive disruption of lifestyle in a quiet lake community. Council is to consider imposing conditions to ensure the proposed development will not affect the community negatively in lifestyle, health, safety, and community. There are many reasons, such as these. This was originally zoned as a single-family community as people chose this for generations, and hopefully for generations to follow. These are all offensive and objectionable factors due to noise, dust, odor, unsightly storage, and many factors that are injurious to others due to the additional health and safety concerns. Concerning to us as well is the added disruption and health concern of running both sewage and water lines on such a large scale, and the impacts and cost to the entire community. We are also aware that current infrastructure cannot maintain the increased use due to the strain of construction and continual vehicular wear and tear. The road would have to be widened and/or paved to accommodate this extensive use. These issues would have to be approved by not only this council, but Manitoba Infrastructure and Manitoba Transportation. The added concerns of establishing a possible business zone in a quiet residential area and not on a main artery of the town adds elements of hazards and safety to all owners. Petitions opposing the establishment of the zone have been signed by more than, well, everyone here, more than 50% of the owners in the proposed areas, and have objected in writing to the establishment of the zone to the date set by the clerk. We have trust and faith in council members and have the duty to enact these laws mentioned and enforce these provisions, as the opinions and concerns of area residents must be at the forefront, ensuring the safety and integrity of the quiet lake life community in order to not be overridden by the profits of solely one owner to the detriments of our safety, health, lifestyle, and pride in our community. According to the bylaws, the definition of nuisance means anything that interferes with use and enjoyment of property, endangering personal health, safety, and offensive to all our senses. In closing, I have made significant points in reference to the bylaws in regards to safety, compatibility, infrastructure, vehicular concerns, sewage, water, as well as the integrity of our town. We adamantly reject the proposed rezoning of Section 8 as it will jeopardize our safety, health, and the generational calm of property owners in Winnipeg Beach. Thank you for careful discernment of these critical issues.
Pretty well covered.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's it. Hey, Ken.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Council, do you have any clarifying questions? No? Okay, thank you. Next, Steffi DeGrave.
Hi, that's me. Hi, thank you again for holding this. We're from Skyview Cove, and we sent an email in, assuming you've got it, which very much just reiterates exactly what you said. I can't say it any better than that.
Thank you.
Other than we moved out here to be in a small community, quiet, lake life, and massive building going up right behind us would not carry on the lake life and quiet community that we moved out here for. So, yeah, well said. Thank you.
Council? Shauna Johnson.
Yeah, that's me. Hi. I'm writing as well as a resident of Skyview Cove, but I've lived in Winnipeg Beach for my whole 37 years of my life as a permanent resident. I live within 100 meters of where the proposed development in question is, and I have several concerns. First of all, infrastructure capacity. So historically, similar developments in our area have been denied due to limited capacity of the local lagoon system. So it raises the question, what's changed? Has the infrastructure truly been upgraded to support a multiple family residential development? Or is this going to create additional strain on already limited resources? Secondly, community safety. Our community is known for its quiet, family-oriented environment, which is one of the main reasons we chose to build our home here. There are understandable concerns about this type of housing being proposed and who the potential tenants might be. It does not matter to me what these buildings look like. They could be made of gold. That doesn't matter. What matters to me is who is going to be living there, who is going to be renting there. If this development includes low-income housing, it could alter the demographic and potentially affect the safety of the area. These concerns are shared not only by residents, but also by the 2 RCMP officers who live within or close to the 100-meter radius and have signed a petition opposing this rezoning due to fears of increased crime. Thirdly, the decline in property values. Skyview Cove is one of the most highly taxed streets in Winnipeg Beach. The presence of a multi-family apartment complex directly adjacent to our homes will almost certainly lead to a decrease in property values, and this is not only a personal concern, but a broader economic one for the municipality. Lastly, transparency and planning expectations. Had this property been zoned for commercial or high-density residential use at the time we purchased and built our homes, many of us, including ourselves, would have reconsidered investing in this location. And everybody that I talked to on this petition said that they would be selling, including ourselves. I live in Winnipeg Beach, have for the last 37 years. I'm a teacher in Gimli and will be a teacher in Winnipeg Beach. I'm invested in this community. And I will be selling and leaving this community if this happens. We fully support the growth of this community. Believe me, I believe in it. Through development of additional single-family homes, which are consistent with the existing neighborhood character. However, apartments are not appropriate for this area and represent a significant shift from what was expected when this community was established. I want to emphasize that almost 100% of the residents within the immediate 100-meter radius have signed a petition in opposition to this rezoning. The opposition is clear, organized, and unified. For the reasons stated but like here, I respectfully urge the town to deny the proposed rezoning application. We hope you will prioritize well-being, safety, and long-term vision of our community. Thanks.
Thank you.
Mayor Plotnick, I'd just like to point out, as a member of council, I have inquired and have not been able to find any development that was denied in this town due to lagoon capacity, so I just would like to make that statement.
Thank you.
Council, any further questions? Thank you. Okay, next up is Sig Trout.
Actually, listening to these two lovely ladies here, I have only one thing to say. We elected the councillors and they should be working for us and not for big business. I understand the fact there is housing needed in Winnipeg Beach for younger people to move out here, but not a monstrosity in front of my damn living room window on Temple. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Good. Any questions?
Chris Lorennick?
Lawrence.
Lawrence, thank you.
I have a presentation. I have only 3 copies. I hope that's probably insufficient. I can email you tomorrow or tonight. So can I just give them to you?
If you want to pass it
Pass
to
it to
your
Barry.
counselor, as well.
1, 2, 3.
So, Mr. Mayor and councillors, I appreciate the opportunity of appearing this evening. I speak for myself and for my wife. We are registered owners of 3 lots, 516, 522, and 528 Silverdale. We have been at the beach for the last 42, 43 years. And actually, my wife's grandfather was one of the partner owners of Brody's Dance Hall. So we have a long history in this community. And the reason why we're here is to try to preserve the flavor, the sense of community, the character that we have come to love and enjoy at our property. And so we are here to jointly support the community in its apparent unanimous opposition to the application to rezone. Our opposition is based on a number of factors. These are not organized in any order of priority. I've tried to put them into some categories. First of all, the project is significantly out of scale given the immediate surrounding area and areas. And there is no transition from the R15 to RM. It's R15 boom to RM. The density is unknown. The density won't be known unless you make, in our humble opinion, the wrong decision to rezone, in which case you are then forced into having to negotiate a development agreement and put the community through further stress and anxiety unnecessarily. The land is landlocked. It's landlocked on the east, on the west, and on the south. And the only access to it is where Temple Avenue dead ends and the lane, single lane, dead ends at the intersection of Temple and that north-south running lane. It's adjacent to Skyview Cove. Now let's just compare. Skyview Cove has 11 single residential units. It has its own street. It accesses onto Temple. Now you have the potential of 82 units directly next door. Respectfully, that's not appropriate land use planning. That's not a compatible land use adjacent to what is clearly a single residential subdivision. And I'm referencing here Skyview. But if you look at the rest of the area, whether it's on Lake, which now has that interior subdivision of I think 44 units, again all single residential, or all of the homes, cottages, permanent or seasonal, that are on Temple, that are on Silverdale, that are on the streets that run east, west, north, and south, that are contiguous to this particular development. There's no indication, and you heard it, and I appreciate the applicant speaking to this, but you heard from the applicant himself that at this point they don't know how long the project could take. I think he at one point said it could be a 15 to 20 year development. Imagine not knowing respectfully what you're going to find each year that you show up. Myself as a cottage owner, our plan, my wife and I plan to retire to Winnipeg Beach. I'd kind of like to see the community continue in the pattern in which we've seen it evolve over the last 42, 43 years. Each phase is proposed to see the construction of 1, 2, or 3-story building. We didn't hear exactly that from the applicant today. The reference in the application is at this time, units will range between 2 and 3 bedrooms, 3 baths, approximately 950 to 1,000 square feet. I apologize for my voice. No indication or clarity as to the number of units and therefore density. I think council and the public are entitled to have some clarity and some indication of what exactly the development is going to look like at its conclusion. On-site parking and green space, how much? 1.2 parking spaces per dwelling unit. If you look at the last page, that suggests 82 or 84 parking stalls. Is that 82, 84 for the residents of that proposed area? That brings those 82 or 84 units along that simple little stretch of Temple and that simple single lane that dead ends at Temple. Again, how many buildings? We don't know. What's the final number? It's not in the application. At one point, there's a different combination of numbers in terms of what the actual numbers might be. So what is the real number? It's adjacent not just to Skyview, but the entire area. And if you look at that entire area, including the Lakeview developments, these are all lots that range between 55 and 75 feet wide, 100 to 135 and some deeper. That's not an area that is to be frankly tampered with a well-intentioned development, but not placed in an appropriate location. I've referenced access to Temple, waste collection, water service. All of these things will impact the community. None of the impacts are known. The impacts are clear on the immediate area. I've, in the material, referenced pictures And the reason for referencing pictures is to make the point that the objection is not to higher density development. We have some of that. You look at Lake and PTH, you have an apartment building that I think is 6 or 9 units. It's 2 or 3 story, I can't recall which. Across the street sits the church, but it's at least serviced by PTH number 9. You have the condominium units that are on the former golf lands. They're serviced by Gimli Road and Kernstead. There's access to transportation. So it's not like we're here to say we don't want development, we don't want growth in the community, we don't want the community to get better. What we are saying is that in the process of getting better, you should apply smart land use practices. You should allow for the transition if you propose to go from single family residential to multi, but not go from single to extremely dense, one lot beside each other. Let me conclude that neither my wife nor I are happy to have to be here to speak in opposition. We love this community. We've supported financially any number of community projects. We've bought a crazy little bench just to add amenities. We have offered and participated in town hall meetings that spoke to and speak to economic development. In my professional capacity, I've approached the province to try to lend some financial assistance. You know, the park development could use a little bit of assistance. The beachfront could use a little bit of assistance. This whole area, in terms of a gem of recreation, could use a little bit of provincial TLC. So it's not like, you know, I'm here because I don't like development or I don't want to see growth. It's the exact opposite. But the scale of the density and the proximity is respectfully inappropriate. And the pictures and the locations that I referenced in the pictures are an example where the scale of development fits. The rezoning at 640 is a misfit. So as a property owner at this beautiful community for the last 43 years, with an eye to retire to this community, we ask you to exercise your responsibilities responsibly and deny this application. I thank you for your attention.
Thank you. No?
No.
Oh, go ahead.
Council?
Mayor Plotton, in speaking with the IPD, we do have an idea of what the density would be. And as I said earlier, based on the 168,000 square feet piece of land, our bylaw would allow 160 units. Now, you know, perhaps we need to be looking at our bylaw because that's what it would allow. And it would need, I just think we need to be reviewing that bylaw and updating it to more appropriate application based on where within the community rather than a complete blanket. But that is what the, based on our bylaw, that is what the density could be.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Larry Speckler?
I think the 4 speakers or 5 speakers in front of you have covered everything that I was going to say, so I have nothing more to add.
Thank you.
Thank you. Barry Willis?
Hi, I just wanted to ask a question regarding a proposal that was put forward for this piece of land about 14 years ago for single-family development. And I want to know what happened to that proposal.
We got an answer, I wasn't here.
I believe it was owned by the guy who put Skyview in. He wanted to develop that. And we came to a meeting like this, and then we never heard anything back of what happened to it. Now, there was supposed to be, like the subdivision that went in before, the one on Temple, in between Temple and Silverdale was Pedrushny. Productiones subdivided it, they were made to put in a road at the end of it. On the other side, from Silverdale to Hazel, there was members on the council that developed that land, and they wanted to get extra lots, and they skimped on the road that goes to nowhere now. And then council wanted us, I own part of the land that's on the opposite side of the road to nowhere. And when there was water coming, they went and they dug a great big ditch through our property. I have a lot there that's 50 by 125. I can't even use it.
Excuse me, sir. This really has nothing to do with this hearing.
No,
This is a
what I'm
personal-
getting to add is I believe the single families that were gonna go in beside Skyview there was supposed to have a road to go north and south behind it, because there's property that we own, my family owned, on the west side, and there's roads that come through the
Once
municipality.
again, I'm sorry, but you're not talking about the development. You're talking about roads that were supposed to be in.
Okay, now this
What
development, now
happened
what
with the
happens if we get a bunch of water
subdivision?
and you gotta
Excuse me,
dig a
just
ditch
One
again?
moment, please. You're talking about something that has nothing to do with this one.
Okay,
But carry
there's
on
gonna
with
be a
something
flood.
that
Okay.
pertains to, okay, please? I'm not
There's
trying
gonna be a
rude,
flood
but
that's
you gotta
gonna
keep it
come.
straight.
and you're gonna need to dig a ditch in between St. Andrews and Winnipeg Beach. Where are you gonna dig it? If this property is built there?
Would you, no, I'm not gonna answer that question because I'm not an engineer, I don't.
There's
I
no
don't
ditch
know.
on the side of the property. Is there allowance for a ditch on the west side of this property?
There should be allowance on both sides of the property for road allowance.
A ditch?
But this road allowance goes to the edge and you usually deal with the ditch.
Like how close is the buildings coming to the property line between Winnipeg Beach and St. Andrews?
Don't know, this is our first hearing of this.
Oh, okay.
and to
That's
me-
all
to
I'm
me, this
concerned
doesn't
about. I
pertain.
mean, it's also,
We'll take your conversation into consideration, of course.
I can't hear you.
I'll take your conversation into consideration, of course,
Okay.
but we sort of gotta get back on track with what.
Yeah, well,
what it's about.
basically, I'm opposing it. I'm not opposed to building buildings in Winnipeg Beach. But there's the golf course that's got all kinds of acres. And I believe the town of Winnipeg Beach owns it, do they not?
No, they do not.
No?
No. Wish we did.
You know, like, again, like everybody else is saying, it's not the right place. It's not the right place for this type of development. And what happened to the proposed single lots that were brought up, 14 years ago? That's all I have to say.
Yeah, thank you.
Council?
Council?
Okay. Guy Mercier?
Thanks, Jody. I don't live over in that area, so all the concerns that have come up or what have there, I think are very valid. But I want to give these guys kudos for coming up with some ideas and presenting them, because I think this town does need some development. My concern is just overall town issues. So we really don't have any idea of whether the water treatment plant or the lagoon can handle any of this stuff that has been approved over the last year or so. So what my concern is coming back on the taxpayers. So if this all goes in and all of a sudden development starts happening, lagoon fails, it's on us. If the water treatment plant fails, it's on us. So we need to make sure that it's not on us. So that if development happens, development agreements are done correctly with dollars that go towards upgrading that, and that developers aren't led down the garden path that something's gonna happen and they're gonna be able to do these and come to these hearings and waste a whole bunch of people's time when we don't have space in the lagoon. So I've seen checks go out to consultants and engineers, never seen reports come back. I've seen people talk about, we can handle 500 houses, we can't handle anything. Oh my gosh, we made a math mistake, now we can handle some. The last interim CIO said, well, we'll just see how it goes. We'll start the development for Ruby's Paradise. We'll see how it goes. We'll deal with it as it comes up. That's not planning, and that will come back on us as taxpayers. So that's my big concern.
Okay, thanks. Thank you. Any questions?
Okay.
I'll just repeat what I said earlier, which is there has not been any development in this town that has been denied because of the lagoon and the lagoon not having capacity. We are a responsible council, and we would not have been approving anything as a council if we did not have the infrastructure and the capacity to be able to get into those agreements.
Thank you.
Okay, and that is all of the people's wishing to speak on this matter. Okay, does council have any final questions?
I'm good.
Okay.
Starting to cough, I haven't talked yet. Agenda item 5.1.2, closed public hearing for zoning amendment bylaw 01-2025. Be it hereby resolved that council now close the public hearing for zoning bylaw 01-2025 and council reconvene the regular council meeting at
7:09.
Mover? Second. All in favor? Carried.
So that concludes our public hearing.
Excuse me.
Everyone is more than welcome to stick around for the remaining portion of the meeting. But if you want, you may go now. Council, do you want to? No, it's later on.
Did you want your copy?
No, I'm
Yeah, I moved.
People are sneaking up on me.
I saw your chair.
I thought you girls like dangerous.
And I was like, no, I was worried about my toes because I didn't know you were gonna go back.
I jammed up here last night.
You're very cute. Thank you.
They're validated as valid.
I'll be speaking with the planning district for our next steps.
Yeah, there's a number of comments made by some individuals that Megan was discriminatory.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I do have my concern with some of the comments that were made. We also have other information. Again, I can't give a description of what the development plan is because your own development regulations hinder my ability to know exactly what you're talking about. Until the survey. But I can't do the survey unless it's
He's asking about the
Okay, thanks for coming.
Take care. Good job. Okay. Where's the camera? Get me on here.
Yeah, you betcha.
She said we can't sit here.
Well, thanks for speaking up.
If you again, be quiet.
No, that's good. I'm not even talking. My throat is-
Of course it is. On the golf course.
It must be, I've been running this out here. No, no, that was good.
Just gets worse.
I agree with you 100%.
Yes.
Well, it seems like it's gonna
Sound like anything you want. Okay, I'll put them there, those two. Yeah, that's me. Thank you.
Yeah, what they do is they go
Well, that makes more space. What is it? What's that? This is confirmation minutes, I got that. Oh, okay. So you just going to the meeting. So,
We'll just,
don't do this, this is for when we start back up.
yeah, that's next. Okay.
I'm sorry, I dragged right up, I could've got. Sorry, John, your delegation, please. I should be saying Mr.
Good thing I've got a good memory. Mr. Mayor, councilors, I'm speaking on behalf of Johnny's Restaurant, Pizza Plate, Treble's Bar and Restaurant, Midnight Annie's, soon to open on Main Street, and they will be open till midnight, that's why it's named that way, Dairy Bee, Salty's Restaurant, and Casabianca. The story is that there is no place to eat at Winnipeg Beach after 9 p.m. The reason is that there are no customers after 9 p.m. Any business would be foolish to stay open and pay out more in wages than revenue coming in. Be assured, the food carts would learn this on their very first weekend and be on their way back to Winnipeg at 7 or 8 at the latest while we are still open. The story was that food carts would not be directly in competition with existing businesses.
Can you turn the fan off? We can't hear anything.
What? Okay. The story was that food carts would not be directly in competition with existing businesses. So, here's what we have available. Hamburgers, hot dogs, smokies, pizza, pasta, chicken, french fries, poutine, pierogies, full course dining at Casabianca and Treble's, ice cream, fancy coffees, soft drinks, milkshakes, and Chinese food. What is left for non-competition? Shame on all of you if you vote to decrease the revenue of the businesses that can contribute to this community in so many ways. We hire local people, we contribute to the stage, we contribute to the food bank, we give prizes for local fundraising. Food trucks or carts will not do this. So here's how it can be best described. All food services in the Winnipeg Beach area can be compared to a pie. Cut it into 7 slices for the 7 restaurants that I mentioned, and we can make enough to pay for our staff, buy our supplies, pay our taxes, pay our insurance, and earn a decent return on our considerable investment in Winnipeg Beach. Cut that same pie into 12, and some of the current outlets will not have extra to dole out cash to support your other initiatives, and some may not survive. I personally went to speak to the person living beside the lot suggested to be the truck or cart location. They are definitely opposed to this. The noise of the generators, the smell, the pollution, the garbage cannot be beside their patio. The address is 20 Robinson and his name is Jim Jenick. Would any of you like to have 5 food trucks or carts sitting beside your cottage or home with the generators running all night and people coming and going and garbage blowing in the wind? I don't think so. Parking is already a problem, and using a lot where people can park to accommodate food carts is just wrong. Mayor Potton said at the last meeting, he asked people if this is what they want. I would like to know who was asked, how many were asked. Also, getting your information from Facebook is not the way to get accurate data. Now, I have here a government bulletin, Manitoba government, that says food trucks using generators, especially diesel ones, can be loud and create a disruptive noise, especially when operating in residential areas. You have here a basic residential area. Now, we have some letters that were written, and I will just read parts of them because some of them are quite lengthy. This one is written by me for Johnny's. The window of opportunity to remain a viable business is very short, actually about 100 days, with the peak being for 6 weeks from the beginning of July to mid-August. The food trucks will make it very difficult to continue food business on Main Street. You should be looking at trying to encourage people to invest in buildings on Main Street, which will have a permanent presence in town. We at Johnny support the bandstand, the food cupboard, the hire local staff, use local tradespeople, plumbers, electricians, maintenance people, yard maintenance, gas station plus local restaurants and stores. The food trucks only pay a nominal fee, do not invest in town, just take the money and leave. Oh, that's mine. And then this one was written from the point of view of James of the Pizza Plate and Dairy Bee. Food trucks are not a draw to the community, more like a plague. They will come in, leech off our services, and have little more in the community, leave little more in the community than garbage. If the intention is to provide more services to the town, no right-minded person is going to operate on days when we feel obligated to. If it's raining, cold, or windy, I am there. Operating regular established hours, many times losing money. With no ties to the community and very little financial investment, it would not feel like a good fit for the town. If offering food trucks to the community is for the financial benefit of the town, there are many more ways to achieve income than something so short-sighted. There was a time when Pancake Breakfast community run funding was able to step up and achieve some monetary gain, including 50/50s at the stage. This was written by Kim Bariluk. I am disappointed and dismayed that council is revisiting the food truck, in quotation marks, nonsense again. We have been over this already. If food trucks were brought in, there will be a very minuscule amount of license fees to town, and the trucks would draw business away from the brick and mortar restaurants, causing further decline of those businesses. There are also other unforeseeable difficulties like trash and mobility issues. Has anyone really thought this through? Why not give the business owners in town some time and some say to say how they think things can be improved? It appears that our longevity would speak to our strength and experience as successful business owners. We tend to know what we're talking about. Please put your efforts and thoughts into how to improve what we already have rather than some fly-by-night operation that might and probably will not bring in more tourists and visitors who we won't be able to accommodate anyway because we already have insufficient infrastructure, bathrooms, and policing, for example. This is from Kim Bariluk. So, there are many ways to raise funding that do not harm the few viable businesses in town.
50/50 pancake breakfast, etc. can be added to the town's coffers. The existing restaurants should not be forced to subsidize the town's budget. In conclusion, I encourage the council and mayor to read the letter submitted this evening for more input, ideas regarding food trucks. Please consult the local businesses before proceeding with plans that will directly impact us. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions of me? I'd like to respond, is that fine? You're good?
That's for the mayor.
I have, oops, I can't get out of here. This is a copy of those letters.
Oh, watch some wires in there.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't want your trip on.
Okay.
Thank you.
Get your foot out.
I'm gonna respond to you, Mr. Swayze, okay?
Yes.
One of the things you said Salty's against it, he's actually wants to put a truck in there, just so you're aware.
Okay.
But he gave us his okay, that he was against the food trucks at Winnipeg Beach.
He's gonna bring one there, he's for it.
But he,
Okay.
Last
Sorry,
night-
I'm not, this isn't an argument.
you're getting mixed
Yeah,
messages. It's okay.
I can carry on, I'm good. So, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 businesses from town, all in town, supported 100% and they're here year round. They all say they want it. I can name them if you would like. So you can't say all businesses are against this. Those 17 are for it. And actually, some of the comments I got with it, all their staff is for it. So I'm just replying to what you said. I'm not here to argue, I'm not here to fight with you. So there is quite a few people that would like to see this. That's all I gotta say.
Food businesses though. Who are direct
No, I'm done. I'm good. Oh, sorry.
Mayor Plotton, Mr. Swayze was referencing business owners in the food industry,
Oh.
not, so he was referencing business
Competition.
owners that are within the food industry that are going to feel the impact of the competition. An insurance company is not going to feel the impact of a competition.
That's exactly right.
An antique store owner is not going to feel the impact
Oh, I
of
never
competition.
I can read you the.
But we don't
the names.
have 17 full-time
No.
food establishments. So all I'm saying, for clarity, is Mr. Swayze is referring to the impact this will have on the restaurant and food industry businesses and
Yeah,
and how they feel about it.
So here's some from the food industry. Ruby's Paradise, Breakwater, New Sing Fei.
But these are the.
How do you say that? Salty's, the Roadhouse, Beach Hotel, but we'll put that in with the Roadhouse. So that's the only food places. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
You recommend 7.
This isn't a contest. There's 6 restaurants that support it.
And have they submitted anything to council and ready?
No, did Mr. Swayze?
Yes, he did, as well as everyone else that he spoke for. We've received
Well, I can give you
emails from
everybody's
those
phone number
businesses.
for it.
No,
But anyway, I'm
I'm just
interested.
commenting that
Let's
we
read this.
received emails from those businesses. You're bringing information forward to contradict, or to say that
Not
there
to
was nothing.
contradict,
Sorry,
to
no,
support it.
I stopped myself.
Yeah.
That are in support of it, but they've sent nothing to council as a whole. And so the information we have is only the emails that we received from the restaurants.
Okay, I'll ask them to email everything in. Okay? Because, I mean,
I'm just
I'm not
stating
trying to
that-
argue here.
And excuse me, Mayor Plotton,
Yes.
neither am I. I am
Okay.
expressing
I never said
my
you were.
opinion
Yeah,
and what I am seeing. And what I am seeing is that Mr. Swayze has taken the time to come here and speak on behalf of several restaurant owners
Yeah.
who have a concern, who are in the community
Mhm.
year-round, some of them seasonally, but have a very short season, who have a concern about the impact that food carts may have not just on their businesses, but on how those businesses can continue to support things going on in the community.
And I agree with you. That's why they're here. I was just having the people that also want us. That's all. Yes, go ahead.
I want to speak on this.
Sure.
We have,
Oh, sorry, 1 minute? No, you weren't on the list,
okay,
sorry.
you go ahead and speak. These are the major businesses.
You've already spoke, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to cut you out, that's just how the bylaws are.
If you want, we'll just get rid of this.
Okay. Anybody else got any questions from in here? Okay, we're good? Oh, yes, I did. I said thank you very much for coming in.
Okay.
Are we going on to this one?
Yes.
Right. I didn't mix them.
That's good.
That's cool.
It's under-
Agenda item 6, confirmation of the minutes. Be it hereby resolved that the minutes of the April 17th, 2025 special meeting, and April 23rd, 2025 regular meeting be approved as circulated. Mover, please. Dean? Seconder? Larry? All in favor? Carried. Agenda item 7.1, accounts payable approval. Be it hereby resolved that council approves accounts payable listing being check number 24297 to 24367, inclusive of checks, electronic payments, and payroll issued in the amount of $294,920.23 as circulated. Hoover, please. Seconder? Mayor? All in favor? Carried. Excuse me. Agenda item 8.1, bylaw 01-2025, zoning bylaw amendment. Be resolved, the Council of the Town of Winnipeg Beach hereby gives second reading to zoning amendment bylaw number 01-2025. Mover, please. Kim. Seconder. Larry. Any discussion? Yep.
So we'll propose rezoning to RM is generally consistent with the urban residential area designation of the EIPD development plan based on on density allowed within our zoning bylaw for residential and multifamily, and the fact that this property is around 168,000 square feet. As I mentioned a couple of times, our bylaw would allow for about 160 dwelling units. This is a density that I cannot support in this area. We have had discussions as a council that we believe there is a need for affordable housing in Winnipeg Beach. And absolutely, multifamily dwellings can help with that. But this just does not seem to be the place to be. If we allow the change to the bylaw, we may never see this applicant again if they stick within all of the zoning rules. They may never come to us again. They're telling us that this is what they're proposing, and while I have no reason to believe that they wouldn't, I have a responsibility to look at, based on what the bylaw states and the rules are, what the what-ifs could be. And one of the what-ifs is they could sell that land after it's rezoned, and somebody else could go in and do whatever they want, and so long as it is within all of the planning rules and our rules, we never see them again, and they have the potential, as was expressed, 84 units when they're meeting the parking rules. I think as a council, we need to review our zoning bylaw, and specifically in relation to residential multifamily, and as was presented by Mr. Lawrence, going from single family to RM is a huge jump. I think we need to look at certain areas where, let's say, duplexes and at most triplexes would be allowed. We just need to, I think, look at that bylaw and make it more suitable for the different areas of what's going on within this community. But as I said, I cannot support second reading of this.
So, oh, sorry.
No, say, finish what you're saying, then I'll.
Okay, I was just gonna say, we cannot change this bylaw now, can we? Because we're into this. Is that correct?
Council can make minor amendments. Council can do minor alterations that do not change the intent of the bylaw. However, if there is going to be a major change, it'll have to go through an entire public hearing process again.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I also can support amending this bylaw. And I'm gonna base that on, I'm gonna guess that the vast majority, and I mean vast majority, of people were opposed to it. So because they were opposed to it, it would be counterintuitive for me to go against that. Okay, because I believe they live in that area, they know better than I do, and they're against it, so ergo, democracy rules, I will vote against it.
Larry. Oh, that's like it. Mary.
Yeah, I'm sort of, now that I've heard from the people, I'm sort of against this too. Yeah.
Well, you feel how you feel.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't have anybody that supported it. Every single person was an objection. And we all want development, and we've done that, but you know what? It would just be counterintuitive.
You must.
Yeah, well, if it was maybe single housing, it would be a little different story, I think. That's my views on it. And of course, the traffic's going to be a lot heavier there. And it's the same with the golf course. People not wanting houses in there, multi-level houses in there. We have to expand, Orange have to expand. St. Andrews just expanded yesterday, another 72 homes. There was a lot of opposition to it as well.
Oh, that's, sorry.
I just want to say that I hear what Councillor Kozlowski said about the golf course, but the golf course is different because it's bordered by a highway in Churchill. This development will buffer against somebody's backyard. And in fact, backyards on Temple and backyards on Sky Cove. So it's one thing, you're gonna have Kernstead as a buffer, you're gonna have Highway 9 as a buffer, and you're gonna have Churchill as a buffer. You could say it's in your front yard or in your backyard, but that's not true because there's a road between you. Whereas these ones here, your fence will separate yourself from a building. That might be 8 units, 12 units, we don't know. And I spoke about something similar, and I know there's a need for it. I'm a huge fan of multi-unit. We need apartments, we need affordable housing, we need everything. And I spoke a couple of years ago about Carberry built 5 8-plexes just outside of town, like right on the edge of town. And it's what we need. But to have it right in somebody's backyard, I can only hear what they're saying, and I have to be against it.
Everybody's gonna do what they feel. That's it for discussion, I'm sorry. Is that it for discussion? All in favor?
All opposed.
All opposed?
Yeah. All in
No.
favor?
How to say it?
Oh,
All opposed.
oh, all opposed. Okay, sorry, I did it backwards. 4 opposed. All in favor? 3
Carried.
1 opposed. 1 in favor. Carried. Oh, it's not carried because I was opposed to
That
it.
is carried.
Pardon me? No, I didn't oppose it. For it. Good luck trying to read what I put on now.
That's a very good idea.
I should ask for recorder.
That's okay. Okay, I am gonna prepare a resolution for council. We will have to do a resolution not to proceed on this bylaw. So I'm just gonna draft it up here, if you don't mind giving me a moment.
Yeah, we
Yeah. I saw that.
You just reading that out of there? Okay, good. Good at talking there.
Okay. So I've got the wording as, be it resolved that council decide not to proceed with zoning bylaw 01-2025.
Mover, sorry, mover. Doug, seconder, Gene.
all in favor?
Oh, yeah, we're getting there, all in favor? Oh, I almost wrote on that one.
And would council like to do a resolution at this time also to request a review of our zoning bylaw?
I'm good if you do.
Well, we have to go through all those bylaws anyways, don't we? The same as policy.
This is just zoning, no, good.
Yeah.
I think we should.
This will trigger a review of it.
Yeah.
Sure. You had that. I objected, but I didn't go through. Objected, let's go. Holy man. I just took some more of these. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, the wording is, be it resolved that council give direction to administration to begin a review of the town of Winnipeg Beach zoning bylaw.
I get mover. Will be
Who's gonna move the?
Doug and
Already.
Barry's gonna, oh, right, I'm right now. All in favor? I see paper, I write.
Okay. Okay, back on track.
Back at it?
Yep.
Agenda item 10.1 EIPD, RM Bifrost Riverton Bylaw 05-2025 request for comment. The council received RM Bifrost Riverton Bylaw 5-2025 for review and comment. And whereas council has reviewed, have we reviewed this bylaw? It's not here, so it should be has reviewed.
Yeah, it was in the attachment.
Okay, haven't put nothing down. Therefore, it be resolved that council of the town of Winnipeg Beach issue the following comments.
No comment.
Gene?
Waiting for a mover, a second.
Oh, did we do that?
No.
Oh, sure. Mover.
I am.
Doug, seconder. All in favor? Carried. Agenda item 10.2, Community Futures AGM invite. Be it hereby resolved the council approve to attend the Community Futures AGM being held at the Gimli Waterfront Center in Gimli on June 19th, 2025 at 6 p.m. at $60 each, out-of-pocket expenses and travel per diem apply. Mover. Seconder, please. All in favor? Oh, no, we're gonna pick somebody here, sorry.
I'm on the Community Futures Board, so so you should go. I think I should go. And anybody else wants to go?
Yeah, anybody else?
It's your 40th anniversary.
Are you taking anyone with? Generally, past councils, when it was something like this where it's a dinner, Mayor Button, the individual is entitled to take a spouse or partner with them if they so choose. So I'm
That's-
just wondering.
that's what usually happens.
Well, it's what is usually normal practice for things like this, as opposed to expecting them to go by themselves. So I don't know.
agreement with
I
that?
don't know if Councillor Jarvis is willing to take his wife out in public.
I never do.
I never.
I think it's the other way.
She's always embarrassing me.
Yeah.
No, I'm okay. I'll go by myself. So
Anybody
somebody
else
else can go or whatever.
No, I'll go.
Okay.
I'll be his date.
It'll be the first time.
Buying flowers. All in favor? Carried. Agenda item number 10.3, firefighter application. Whereas an application has been received and reviewed by the fire chief of the town of Winnipeg Beach Fire Department, and whereas the fire chief has submitted a recommendation to accept the applicant, and therefore hereby resolve that council appoint Darren Sewell, is that what he said? Sewell, to the town of Winnipeg Beach Volunteer Fire Department. Further, be it resolved, a 6-month probationary period is applicable. Mover, please. All right. Seconder? Doug. All in favor? Carried. Agenda item number, sorry.
I just have a point of order question.
Sure.
If I need to recuse myself from a vote, is it done after the resolution is read or before the resolution is read?
I don't know.
Before.
Okay. I would like to recuse myself from the vote and discussion on Madeline's Closet, as I am now a board member.
Okay. Accepted. Agenda item number 10.4, Madeline's Closet invitation. Be it hereby resolved, the council approve to attend Madeline's Closet renovation tour located in Inuit, Manitoba. Out-of-pocket expenses and travel per diem are applicable. Who wants to go? Oh, sorry, gotta go through that. I thought we had put the person in first. Mover? Larry? Seconder? Larry? So now we put the person in.
Yes.
Who would like to go?
I would like to go, yeah.
I never seen your hand come up,
I
I'm
think
sorry.
this, I think it's a really good initiative.
Is it a date that we make with them, or?
Yeah,
Yeah, if council wouldn't mind suggesting a date, or a couple dates that would work, and then we can, I can do that. Or you can, you know what, council can email me the dates after.
All right.
That works better.
So it's just Barry. Oh, Doug's. You,
I'll go too. I don't-
Yeah.
I'll be a state.
you going to?
Would be an interesting.
I wrote too big. Barry.
I'll just put, does it work if we just put, council's approved to attend?
Sure.
We can currently.
Then it's kind of
Yeah.
blanketed.
All in favor for this one? Carried. Agenda item 10.5, Sadie Grimm ribbon cutting invitation. Be it hereby resolved that council approve Mayor Potten or delegate to speak at the Sadie Grimm's Ride celebration being held in Winnipeg Beach on June 8th, 2025 at 3 p.m. Mover? Doug? Seconder? All in favor? Carried.
Anybody going?
Tony?
That's good. I think it's good that we represent us. They did a really good job on that, really good job.
Agenda item 10.6, Town of Winnipeg Beach Operational Planning Engagement. Whereas the Council of the Town of Winnipeg Beach has approved the 2025 Strategic Plan as its meeting held on March 26, 2025, and whereas in accordance with an approved strategic plan, it is necessary to develop an operational plan to guide the implementation of strategic objectives. Therefore, be resolved that Council accept a statement of engagement from GovFox Municipal Consulting Inc. for the preparation of their operational plan in an amount of $1,750 plus applicable taxes. Be it further resolved that the CEO be authorized to proceed with signing a statement of engagement. Mover, please. Tim? Seconder? All in favor? Or any comments?
No, I think it's a good idea.
All in favor? Carried. Uh, 10.7 Community Garden Cleaning Request. Whereas the Town of Winnipeg Beach operates a community garden program with box rentals at $20 per person, and their rental application states that the maintenance is the renter's responsibility, and whereas a renter has requested the town till and clean overgrown box that has been unused, and whereas the town does not have the necessary equipment and need to rent it with estimated costs of $100 or more, now therefore be resolved that council approves the request for the town to prepare the overgrown garden box. Mover. I'm gonna have to move a little bit. I keep giving it to him. Who wants to work? Larry?
Sure.
I'll go to you.
Well, I never turn my head to the right front. Seconder. Larry, thank you. So is this the one we spoke about today? Okay. All in favor?
Do you want to discuss it?
Oh, sorry, discussion.
So this is just an overgrown box that's never been used and they want the town to clean it up, right?
That's what I assume.
Yeah, so why don't we clean it up and move the renter? You would rent, yeah.
Right now, the provisions on the application does state that the box is the applicant's responsibility to clear, like prepare for the season, maintain during the season, and then at the end of the year, clear it out for the next season. So
So is this
that's
just
why this matter is before council, because it's outside of the scope of the current process.
So is this just a vacant box sitting there, or somebody applying for it to rent?
Somebody has applied to rent. I think there might be a couple boxes that they're interested in renting.
Don't we have a green team? I watched these people spend all day to clean that memorial garden. I kid you not, they spent all day cleaning that memorial garden for the park. Do you know what I mean? It's in the park. And we're renting out boxes for $20, albeit it's only $20. And we can't get those same people to go there and just turn that over.
And council can pass a resolution to do so. There is just no direction or policy on this matter currently.
The agreement that individual box users get into with the town state, they get the box as is, they're responsible for preparing it, they're responsible for maintaining it.
You know, then we need to change the terminology. I would vote to overturn that and change the terminology again. Bad math, I watched possibly $240 in town labor, clean a garden for the provincial park. It's not even our garden, we have nothing to do with it. And we invested 2 people all day long to clean that.
So
So if we can do that, then surely to goodness, and we're gonna, albeit it's $20, we can sit there and say, get a potato fork and a shovel and go there and turn that over.
Go ahead, Jim.
Yeah, Councillor, I'm sorry, Mayor Putton, the boxes in question are not as simple as stated in the information provided with this. These boxes involved are not as simple, go in and turn it over. Equipment is required. And I don't think it's a good idea to change the fact that people aren't responsible for maintaining or setting it up. I think we need to be looking at this as an isolated request and an isolated decision about an overgrown box. But it's, to be changing it and expecting that the town is going to every year clean up the boxes for everybody before they start their gardening, $20 is not an effective, or it is not an appropriate amount to be charging if that's what the return they're going to get for it is. So what we really need to be, we're looking at this one request. And in all fairness, I am a box user. I maintain. It's my job to clean it out. It's my job to keep it clean. It's the job of everybody else. But what we are faced with here is some overgrown boxes that have not been done for years and would require equipment. So we are looking at, are we willing to spend the $100 to get it done? And perhaps if we're going to spend the $100 to get it done because we have to rent equipment, then maybe we should just make the 5 or 6 that are right now not usable, make them all usable so that they're rentable, and then it then falls on the individuals to maintain them. Would be my suggestion.
So, we talked about this earlier today, and I knew it wasn't something that we do. So I talked to a couple of friends and we said we'd go do them. I talked to a couple of friends and we said we'd go do them. If you want to do this the other way, I'm just as happy than having to go over and do them. But we don't mind doing them.
We're trying to promote the community garden concept, right? And the $20 is nothing. We're trying to promote people to save some money, to grow their own vegetables, to eat fresh, and we think it's an environmentally eco-friendly thing to do. So then we turn around and say, okay, but you gotta get a tiller, a rototiller, and go in there, you know what I mean, gas, or get a big battery pack and throw that on there, and you got a rototiller, and these were never used.
Oh, they've never been in production?
I don't know, I think.
No, they have been used, they've been left for quite some
Unattended.
time, and but I will maybe remind, you may not remember, this has been brought to council before about an overgrown bed, and the person was refused for us to clean it out, that the agreement is you're responsible. And I'm just letting you know.
And we looked at,
So-
sorry to interrupt, but if we looked at other community gardens, is $20 too much or too little? You know, like.
I think it was just said as a reasonable, try to make use of the space, and I keep talking and I should be addressing the chair, sorry. I mean, I think if it makes sense. I think there's like 5 or 6 of them. There's no point in us spending the money on equipment rental to do one. I think if we're gonna agree to do it, that the direction be that the equipment be rented, they all get cleared out, and then from there on, it is the renter's responsibility to maintain the box.
Good.
How many boxes are there roughly?
8 to 10.
20? So let's put 20.
Don't
So
hold
let's say, I don't know if Stringers or somebody rents these, if we could, if we added it, went from $20 to $25, and we did them every spring, we turned them over, you know? Is that somewhere we want to go? And we would recover the money that we invested to turn it over. Because we are, and that might encourage people that maybe don't have gardening equipment, it might encourage people that maybe aren't green thumbs, you know what I mean? To just put some vegetables in there and grow vegetables.
I agree with them getting cleaned up. Sorry?
Yeah, I'd like to make a point.
Okay.
We do use currently town staff to fill up the water bin so that the users of the community garden program can water their plants in an easier, accessible way. So we are allocating essentially town funds to that currently.
Is there, sorry to interrupt you, is there such a thing as a electric, I'm asking you, electric rototiller? Can you get a battery pack on that? I would assume so, right?
Sure. Well,
Yeah.
You'd have to take all the weeds out first, if you gotta take them out, because it just wrapped itself up, right?
Yeah, but I mean, but that's easy to do. I mean, yes, you want to turn it over. So why don't we just see if we can find one on some sort of secondhand website and just throw it in the shed? If we got a green team,
So
you know, buy one for $50 and it becomes part of the green team.
I would just like to comment that those boxes that are rented, they're well maintained by the current renters. I don't believe this is an ongoing need. It isn't. Once it is cleared out, we had to do a fair bit of work to clear ours out initially. Once it's cleared out, it is very easy to maintain. And so I don't think we need to be looking at doing this long-term. I think we need to look at, let's get those boxes that are far too overgrown for an individual to go in, get them cleared out this year, and then there's, you know, we've had the initial request for 1 or 2. Carissa can then promote, because everybody keeps coming back, so
Right, so-
nobody seems to be leaving their boxes. So at least then she can promote again, get people in there, and individuals can easily maintain them once they're cleared out.
So,
Okay, so
I agree.
Oh, go ahead first, Jody. You
Yeah, I was
probably
gonna
got
say,
something smarter than me.
if council would like to change the verbiage of the resolution, you could permit a one-time preparation of the overgrown garden boxes. And
That have been the unused.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, so I concur with Councillor Jen. Just clean up the ones that aren't being used right now, get them ready to go, and then
Tell them
again,
this is
maintain
This
that,
is the free one,
yeah.
and that's it.
Yeah, we have to assume some responsibility for this.
So I don't think this one here belongs anymore.
Yeah, so I've just, so the last sentence where it says council approves the request for the town to prepare the overgrown garden box, I've changed it to prepare the overgrown garden boxes as a one-time,
Courtesy.
one-time commitment, yeah. There we go.
Go. Everything's done. All in favor? Carried. Agenda item 10.8, AMM Interlake District Meeting. Be it hereby resolved, the council is authorized to attend the 2025 Interlake District Meeting being held in Oak Point on June 11, 2025, with no registration fee, out-of-pocket expenses, and travel per diem are applicable. Mover, please. Seconder? There. Discussion? Anybody want to go?
Oh.
As will I. It's relevant for all of us because it is the Interlake
Yeah, and
chapter.
they had one position was vacant for an extended period of time, I believe.
He said that there's only one on there. I think
Yeah,
that was
we
a
only had
gentleman,
one for the longest
the
time.
gentleman that was here tonight, that's what he was speaking on.
So if council could please just email me if you're interested in attending, and I'll make sure you're registered.
Yeah, I'll go.
Okay. All right. Okay. Stan?
No,
Okay.
thanks.
We have a council meeting that day also.
This is in the daytime, though, 8:45 a.m. Is it open?
All in favor for this? Carried. Agenda item 10.9, silent auction table donation request. Whereas the Winnipeg Beach Food Connection has requested the use of 4 tables at both the spring market and the Christmas market to conduct silent auctions in support of the charitable work. And whereas the standard table fee is $35 per table, and the Winnipeg Beach Food Connection has requested that these fees be waived in recognition of the charitable nature of the fundraising. Now therefore be it resolved that 1, council approve the Winnipeg Beach Food Connection's request to use 4 tables at the spring market, 4 tables at the Christmas market for the purpose of conducting silent auctions. The table fees of $35 per table be waived for both events in recognition of the charitable benefit provided to the community, and 3, table placement for both the spring market and the Christmas market be managed at the discretion of the recreation manager to ensure efficient event operations and accommodations of other vendors. Mover, please. Larry? Seconder? Jimmy? Discussion?
Yeah, I think that's a no-brainer. It's all volunteers for this community and feed our people. A lot of them have taken money out of their own pockets, for sure, and donated to the food cupboard as well. So once again, no problem with giving them those tables for kids.
Anybody else?
No.
All in favor? Carried. Some air back here. Agenda item 1010, request for variation approach culvert width roll 170000. Whereas the town of Winnipeg Beach has received a request from Craig Koslowski for a variance to the culvert access approach installation policy number 345/INF/P to permit a second back lane access with culvert installation to serve a new garage at 108 3rd Avenue. Whereas the applicant's property currently has one existing back lane access and no front access is available. Whereas section 12 of the policy 345/1NF/P prohibits the town from participating or subsidizing the installation, repair, or maintenance of a second culvert access, but section 17 provides for council to consider appeals and site-specific exceptions. Therefore, be it resolved, the council approves the request for variance to allow second back lane access with culvert installation at 108 3rd Avenue, subject to the following conditions. The applicant shall be solely responsible for all costs related to installation, maintenance, and any required repairs of the culvert or access. 2, the culvert must meet all specifications outlined in policy 345/INF/P, including material width requirements. No subsidy or assistance will be provided by the town for this installation or its ongoing maintenance. The applicant must obtain all necessary permits and approvals prior to commencing work. Mover, please. Doug? Seconder? Jean? Comments? Discussion?
I'd like to, go ahead. Oh, sorry.
I thought nobody was at Brandon.
I went by the property.
Yeah.
There is already a culvert and a drive into the back property. On the east side of the lot. They are proposing the west side. Looking at this, it also looks like they're trying to go greater than the 22 feet. I don't see why the individual can't put their garage where they have their current culvert, or if they're going to put it on the other side and have a culvert, be required to eliminate the culvert that's already there. As noted in the information, we could be starting a dangerous precedent by allowing 2 entries. I understand people like to have all the space in the world to park in their back, but it would be going down a slippery slope with other requests, or potentially other requests.
Anybody else? Sorry. Anybody else? I didn't know how that came up. I'm just reading the book.
I also spoke to the previous owner of the property who said that there really is minimal water issues in this park.
To me, if he has all the costs, and we never have costs, I don't really know the difference in those.
My issue isn't cost, Mayor Plotton. My issue is setting a precedent and all these extra culverts and, I mean, we have a drainage plan. We have a drainage plan for a reason, and people requesting second entryways, it isn't about cost, it's about impact.
Okay.
The individual indicated that the neighbors had no issue, but didn't supply any supporting information from the neighbors.
Okay, anybody else? Go ahead. No. Call for the question. All in favor? That was the discussion. Oh, everybody's supposed to be sorry. I was thinking nobody heard me.
Still have to ask.
Sure, right. 4 against.
We haven't voted, so we have to say all opposed.
All opposed? Sorry. In favor? Well, I messed that one up. Agenda item 10.11, request for variation approach with roll 88-100. It's a different one.
Yeah, it's good.
Whereas the request has been submitted by the property owner of roll 88-100 for a variance to the standard approach with outlined in policy 345/INF/P culvert access approach installation. And whereas the request seeks to increase the approach width with a maximum permitted 22 feet to 122 feet. And whereas the request seeks to, increase the approach, no, I already done that, I'm sorry, alongside of the property. Alongside, but which would cover a municipal drainage ditch and is adjacent to a provincial highway. And whereas the proposed change has potential implications for municipal and provincial drainage infrastructure, has received recommendations of denial from the Public Works Department, Manitoba Highways, and Municipal Lot Grade Inspector. And whereas this matter was previously tabled by council pending further review and clarification, therefore be it resolved that council approve the variance request for an approach width of 122 feet at roll 88-100 as submitted by the property owner. Further be it resolved that approval shall be conditional upon the submission of a professionally engineered drainage and design plan, review and a written approval by Manitoba Infrastructure, and the applicant obtaining all necessary permits at their expense. Mover, please. Seconder? All right. Discussion.
Everybody's opposed to this. Public Works Manager, the highways is opposed to it, the lot inspector's opposed to it, so ergo I'm opposed to
Anybody else?
it. Like all professionals are opposed to it.
All in favor? All opposed? Camera's not playing. Oh, they're just.
Yeah.
So I thought maybe they'd quit, and I just noticed it. Agenda item 10.12, Service Officer NNC. Be it resolved that the council approves the administration to assign the service, I said officer, sorry, offer with Nettie Newdorf Consulting. Moved by. Seconder? Discussion? All in favor? Agenda item 10.13, barbecue fundraiser request, Winnipeg Beach Food Connection. Be it resolved that council approve the use of sidewalk space for the Winnipeg Beach Food Connection fundraising barbecue at the following events. May 17th, 2025, Spring Market at the Community Center. July 26th, 2025, Boardwalk Days at the Food Connection. August 23rd, 2025, Market along Main Street. September 20th, 2025, show and shine market at the community center. Mover, please. Seconder? Discussion.
Just a question, are these the locations that they're wanting to be parked at? Or is this just indicating where the location itself, never mind, if I read Boardwalk Days with the Food Commission, clear, sorry, this is where they'll want to be, okay.
All in favor? Carried. Committee reports approval. Be resolved, the council accept the committee reports as presented. Mover. Barry. Seconder. Discussion. Reports. Yes, that's it. All in favor? Carried. Roundtable discussion. What are we discussing?
Council committee and board reports. Roundtable.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, I attended a Winnipeg Beach Historical Society meeting. I'm the council rep for the committee. The other night by Zoom, it was an update by Wendy Peters on what's going on with the signs and still working on them, and administration is helping with that as well. Hope to have them up soon. There's some interfacing between with the QR code and being able to, it's just behind the scenes stuff that they're needing to try and figure out. And on June the 16th, the Red River Basin Commission North Chapter meeting is actually taking place. Winnipeg Beach is hosting it. Other members of council, if you're interested to come and see or hear what happens at a Red River Basin Commission chapter meeting, it will be at the community center. So if you wanted to come in and see. Otherwise, that's it. Me.
Anybody else? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, was at the Legion, and they're having a pancake breakfast on Sunday, May 25th. They also have a craft sale that day. We've been busy there, people making pierogies, bake sale. They had their tea, which I was serving tea also that day. There were 6 of us serving tea, dainties, sandwiches. So it was a good day. There was probably about 100 people there.
Oh, wow.
They had a great silent auction. And just if anybody wants to volunteer for the Legion, please get involved. Don't forget it's for the community and for our veterans. So do indulge and become a member there. That's my report.
I never went to any committees. The only one I had was canceled. That's it.
Yeah, and then there's just a resolution to confirm that.
Sorry.
There's just the resolution to confirm.
Okay. Agenda item 13.2, council committee and board reports approval. Be it hereby resolved, the council approves the council committees and board reports as presented. Mover. Seconder. All in favor? 14.1, accept correspondence. Be hereby resolved that the correspondence be accepted as circulated. Mover, please. Doug. Seconder. Discussion. All in favor? Carried. Oh, there is that camera. Item 15.1, in camera. Be it hereby resolved the council moves into in camera.
8:19, yeah.
To discuss matters that are in the preliminary stages and legal. If further resolved that any matter discussed on camera be held confidential until such time. Mover, please. Seconder. Mary. I guess there's not much room for discussion on that one. All in favor? Carried. Thanks for coming up, folks.
We're gonna just go far to the wall town's office.
I know, that's what I tell you.
That's okay.
I'm sweating. I stink.
We're good to go. Camera is up and running.
15-2 out of camera. Be it hereby resolved, the council moves to the camera at 9.
9:47 according to my computer.
We'll use that one. 7 moved by somebody. Larry. Seconded by Barry. Barry. All in favor? Carried. Adjournment. Be it hereby resolved, the council adjourns to May 14th, 2025 regular meeting at 1 minute later.
Yeah.
Last one.
6:48.
6:48?
Yeah. Or sorry, 9:48.
Have another donut, Joey. Blood sugar's low. Yeah, where are those donuts?
Over. Seconder. All in favor?